Are you nodding your head back there, Alex?
Oh,
okay, that is correct.
We did it.
Yeah. A new study shows that teenagers who start using marijuana before the age of 15 are more likely to develop mental and physical health problems into young adulthood.
And measles cases are spreading to the point where it could threaten elimination status in the U.S. and in Canada. UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff is back with us today.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Dr. Potoff.
Hi.
Yeah. Well, first of all, for this marijuana study,
Yeah.
researchers in Canada followed like 1,500
Yep.
kids birth to young adulthood.
Yep.
What did they find?
So they found that about 60% of these kids never touched marijuana. 40% did use that. Of that 40%, about 20% started before the age of 15, and they used it frequently, defined as at least once per month through age 17. And that cohort actually had more mental health problems. They sought mental health treatment about 51% more than those who didn't smoke marijuana frequently at that young age. And then physical complaints even higher, over 80% seeking medical care for physical complaints. There's two things going on here. One, it could be that the marijuana itself is interacting with these teens' brains. That's an important time for neurodevelopment, and maybe that does lend to increased rates of depression, anxiety, things like that. It's also possible that these teens have underlying anxiety or depression. They start to use marijuana to treat that. That still doesn't work out very well, because then those folks become kind of recalcitrant to other more productive ways of treating anxiety and depression. They tend to just go back to the marijuana. So all in all, I think there's this idea that marijuana is like safe. I don't think we completely say that, especially if you're using it regularly and you're in this younger age group.
You alluded to this just a moment ago, but what is it about the adolescent brain, that time of your life, that your brain development is so critical?
Yeah, you know, there's still some plasticity in the brain, so it's still kind of figuring things out. It's developing, and things we do that alter that development can then go on to have lifelong kind of consequences. And typically, brain development keeps going until probably 22, 25 years old. So these, 12 to 17-year-olds are prime time for these chemicals interacting with the development of the brain.
Yeah, and the research found 2 to 4 times higher risk of a psychiatric disorder in the teens using this. And you mentioned you were still kind of looking at the safety of this, but is there any age that it is safe or you're less affected?
Yeah, I would say if you put this on the scale, there's probably very little benefit to using these substances, especially if you're younger. And it seems like there could be some risks. So I think certainly if you're a parent out there, you have kids who are maybe thinking about this, or how am I going to talk to my kids about this? Caution's probably warranted here, especially if your kid's in that age range of 12 to 17 or so.
Okay, let's talk about measles, because the measles continues to spread. There were 5,000 new cases of measles in Canada last year, this time last year. And in Canada, they eradicated measles in, 1998?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
And now there's enough cases that they might lose that designation?
Yeah.
How serious is that?
I mean, it's unfortunate in the sense that, a long time ago, we had these vaccines come out. A lot of people got vaccinated. We were able to eliminate measles, both from Canada and the United States, quite frankly, meaning that there was no transmission of measles that existed for more than 12 months. We're having our own problem with measles in the United States. We're well over 1,600 cases. Canada's outbreak started a little bit before ours, last October. They've had over 5,000 cases. And I think it's this perfect environment of there's a lot more measles cases kind of worldwide. Overlay that with kind of this vaccine hesitancy coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. You create this perfect environment where there's enough people that are susceptible that when these things start, they don't just stop, they just kind of keep going. World Health Organization likely will say that Canada will lose their elimination status in a week or two. And we're not far behind. Our measles outbreak started a little bit later, but the next time WHO meets, we'll probably lose in the United States too.
Very quickly, how are we doing right now in Wisconsin?
Yeah, right now we haven't had a couple cases in Wisconsin for a while. We had those cases up in Oconto County. There was concern around a truck stop maybe about a month ago. So far, we're doing okay.
Good news.
Very good. Thanks for being on
you
with
bet.
us.
Thanks, Dr. Potoff. Good to see you.
Let's get a look